Hello, everybody. Welcome to the GM Sports Report, your weekly podcast on all things sports where every play counts. I'm Grant, and I'm here with my co-host Mason as we get ready to cover the latest news, headlines, and upcoming events going on in the sports world. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to see all things GM Sports Report. Mason, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Grant. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. Got a lot of news to talk about. NFL offseason has started, so there's news flying all around, which we are recording this on a Tuesday morning, so there might be moves that happen that we won't be able to
Yeah,
cover today, but a lot has happened so far.
yeah. Another thing also is that I will have my phone on standby because that's what I read my notes off of. So if anything
Okay,
big happens, I'll be able to share it with you guys firsthand.
perfect. All right, well, before we get into all that NFL news, we're going to start how we start out every episode, and that is with our hot take of the week. So, Mason, I'll let you go ahead. Who is your hot take of the week, or what is your hot take of the week?
So my hot take does have to go with free agency stuff, and that is Sam Darnold is getting Daniel Jones treatment. Um, if you guys have been around and paid attention to NFL for a pretty long time, you can see that like Sam Darnold has really only had one good season, and that has been just this past season with the Minnesota Vikings, and now he's getting 110 million for 4 years for the Seattle Seahawks. I think that it's just a disaster waiting to happen. He had help with a lot of great talent over there in Minnesota, and he's going over to a pretty shaky Seahawks team right now. Got rid of two of their best receivers and has to have JSN, Jackson Smith, and Jigba as his wide receiver one, who I think still has to prove himself in the league. He's really only been their wide receiver three, if not two. So yeah, I think it's just a lot of pressure on the Seahawks, and it'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to 100% agree with you. I do not understand that contract whatsoever, especially when they just traded away DK Metcalf.
Hmm.
Um, it seems like the Seahawks are in a rebuild, but then they go and pay Sam Darnold $100 million. So I'm very
Yeah.
confused. Are they going to take a wide receiver in the draft? I don't know. We'll just have to see. But yeah, I
Hmm.
100% agree with you, and it will be interesting to see how it plays out. But like you said, a lot of the reason he had success in Minnesota was because he was throwing to Justin Jefferson, and he had Aaron
Yep.
Jones that carried a big load on the offense.
Jordan
Like he had
Addison. Yep.
Jordan Addison. He had a ton of help on that team, and now with the Seahawks being depleted, like we said, I don't know if you're going to get that kind of success. So it is looking like a
Mm-mm.
Daniel Jones situation. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But it's definitely out of all the moves that happened yesterday, I do scratch my head the most at that one.
Yep.
All right. It was very hard for me to come up with a hot take this week. I don't even know how much I believe in this hot take. But I was looking at the standings in the West, and I thought it was kind of interesting because the team in seventh was the Clippers, and I think the Clippers are actually a sleeper team in the West. When you look at their roster, they have a pretty solid roster. James Harden is putting up one of like the most quiet best seasons you'll ever see because he's quietly putting up, I think, like around 23-8. So very solid
Hmm.
season. And Kawhi Leonard has come back from injury, and he's slowly ramping up, and he's looked better and better. He just had that game winner the other night, and that's always a good player to have in come playoff time. We know he turns into a beast come playoff time. So I look at this Clippers roster. Zubac has been insane at center, and Norman Powell has been insane this season. Maybe they could make some noise and upset some people. We'll have to see. I feel like we kind of say that every season. The Clippers roster looks pretty good and they don't really perform, but we'll see this year. I could see them making some noise, maybe a sleeper team.
Yeah, so could you see them getting in anyone like over anyone in the playoff spots right now? Because what they're sitting in 8, 7, 8 right now.
Yeah, let me pull up the standings real quick and see.
Because right now it's obviously top three: Thunder, Nuggets, Lakers, and then Grizzlies, Rockets, Warriors are 4, 5, and 6, and they're just under Timberwolves, I think. So, um,
So I think I'm looking at the standings right now. I think they do have some work to do. I think they'll stay
mhm,
in the play-in, but if Denver
yeah,
stays in that 2 spot, I think if they get that game against the two seed, I think they might have a chance against Denver because I don't think
really,
Denver is as dominant as they have been in previous years. I think Jamal Murray has taken a step back. I think obviously Aaron Gordon's been having his injury issues, and they've been relying a lot on Christian Brown. And I don't know if that's a recipe for success come playoff time. But obviously, I think the Nuggets should be the favorites in that series. But I would not be surprised if Clippers make it a pretty decent series. And
Got
if
it.
they win that series, then who knows what could happen. So that's pretty
Mm-hmm.
much my hot take, is just watch out for the Clippers. All right. Now we're going to slide into our next thing, which is underdog of the week. So Mason, I'll let you go ahead with that real quick.
Yeah, this is another one I really couldn't figure much out on. And I hate to keep bringing it back to NFL, but free agency has just been so big right now, and I'll have to give it to Chris Godwin. He could have went over to the Patriots. They were giving him 20 million more on a contract, but he decided to defer and stay with the Buccaneers. So, I think huge shout out to him. He has been a staple for that Buccaneers, offense, and he may not be the leading guy that everyone looks at, but he has been probably the best role player on that team in a very long time.
Yeah, I like that. I think it's very big for the Buccaneers to re-sign him. I think he's kind of like the glue guy for that team.
Mhm.
Been there so long. Him and Evans, just a great, probably the most underrated wide receiver duo, I'd say.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
always just put up such solid seasons. Obviously, Godwin's ended shortly, unfortunately, with that injury. But hopefully he bounces back and Buccaneers can continue to make some noise. And like you said, it always shows true colors when a player turns down bigger deals to stay loyal to their team. And I always respect that. So I like that pick.
Yeah.
Um, my underdog of the week is going to have to go to Julius Randle. It's not
Wow.
necessarily the eye popping stats. He's just come back from injury and played like 5 games since being injured, and he's averaged pretty decent stats. I mean, 17 and a half points, 8.2 rebounds, and 7.2 assists, which those are pretty solid, numbers. But here's the eye popping stat: in the last 10 games that he's played for that team, the Timberwolves are 10-0 when Julius Randle has played in his last 10 games. So I'm not saying that Julius Randle is like the make or break of the
Right.
Timberwolves, but I think the proof is in the pudding, so to speak. When you look at the last 10 games and they're 10-0, I think Julius Randle is a big factor. I think he makes Anthony Edwards a lot more comfortable and makes him play a lot more efficiently. So yeah, I
Mhm.
just wanted to shout out Julius Randle real quick.
Nice.
All right. So now we're going to slide over to the NBA real quick, and we're going to start like how we do every week with our player and team of the week. So Mason, I'll let you go ahead with your player of the week.
My player of the week is going to be Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I
Mhm.
looked at the Western Conference Player of the Week stats, and 44 points per game, 5 rebounds per game, 6.7 assists per game. It's insane. And obviously that Thunder team has been generational right now, and just they've been killing it. So yeah, he's my player of the week.
Yeah, that's definitely a safe pick to make. I think he's definitely shown that he's deserving to be in that MVP conversation, which we're about to get into. Um,
Hmm.
my player of the week, despite watching some terrible basketball since the Jimmy Butler trade, I got to give credit to Bam Adebayo. He has been insane. He started off the season very slow, but man, he has picked it up. In his last 6 games, he has averaged 26 points, 11 rebounds, and 5 assists. And this is all while being the anchor on defense and playing like guarding 1 through 5 practically, because no one else on the team seems to know how to guard. So this is all while doing it on both ends of the court. And the Heat have been playing some brutal basketball straight up. I mean, they've been blowing all these leads. Everyone knows by now. It's looking like we're going to be in the ninth or 10th seed for the
Yeah.
play-in. So it's been brutal, but the one thing that Heat fans can fall back on and be happy about is seeing Bam breaking out and having a great second half of the season. So I just wanted to shout out Bam Adebayo.
Nice.
All right, now we're going to slide over the team of the week. So Mason, I'll let you go ahead.
I know it's gonna kill you to say this, but I gotta go with the Warriors. 9-1 in the last 10, and I will say they haven't played any like crazy, I say like finals contenders type teams. But to be able to put up 9-1 in the last 10 and win against the teams that you should win against, that's credit. That gives credit at the end of the day, and they're currently sitting at that 6th seed in the West and have some pretty good matchups that they'll be able to win coming up. Apart from the Knicks, Bucks, and Nuggets, which I think will be probably the toughest. they've gone up against, but they have beat the Knicks already. And the Bucks and Nuggets will be interesting to watch. So yeah, I think they're sitting in a pretty good spot, and I think they could definitely move up from here.
Yeah, I also went with the Warriors, like you said, 9-1 in their last 10. They're 11-2 since the Jimmy Butler trade. So obviously that was a good trade for
Hmm.
them. For anyone that had their doubts, um, just the IQ Jimmy Butler brings to that team helps out so much. They get a guy that slows the game down because obviously they love to play fast with Steph Curry, but when it comes later in the game, it's good to slow the game down. And when you have a guy like Jimmy Butler who can get to the free throw line at will, that helps out tremendously. And something else to note is this: they're doing all this without Jonathan Kaminga, who's sort of looked at as like their young star kind of player. Not star, but a young all-star potential player. And when he comes back, that's going to add a whole different dynamic to this team. And I really think we're going to start looking at a championship contender once he comes back and they start all gelling together because they already look
Hmm.
really solid. And I know the West is probably looking at them right now thinking, boy, I don't want to play them in a first round. So it'll be very
Right.
interesting to see how the rest of their season goes. Like you said, some pretty big matchups coming up, and we'll really see what they're about.
Yep.
All right, now I kind of want to go towards the main talking point in the NBA right now. Obviously, the Thunder and Nuggets kind of just played like a mini 2-game series, I guess, against each other. They split it 1-1, and we're having one of the best MVP races I think we've seen in a while between Shea and Jokic right now. So it's obviously sparking a lot of debates, and I just want to get on the records, Mason. Who do you think deserves the MVP award this season? It's a very tough debate to have because both are so
Yeah, I
good this
know.
year.
Um, I think they're both obviously the most valuable to their team, and that's without a
Mhm.
question. Um, but just seeing the numbers that this guy's put up has been like eye popping to me, and I know I brought it up to you. And I have to say Nikola Jokic. It's just insane that was it that 30-20-20 game he had that like I was just I couldn't believe it. And then you said like we haven't seen stuff like that since prime Russ, and it was just he's averaging 28.9 points per game this season, 13 rebounds per game, and then 10.5 assists. So like he's averaging that triple double, and like that's just like the baseline. It seems like, and
Yeah.
he'll be able to go and like put up 20 like on any given night, and it's insane. Not to say that Shea doesn't deserve it, but that's what I think.
Yeah. Um, it's so tough for me. I literally bounce back
Yeah,
and forth. Like each day, it feels like I switch between the two of them. At this
yeah,
moment, I think it should go to Jokic. I think, like you said, the
yeah,
stats he puts up is insane. It's not just scoring. He gets you the rebounds. He gets you the assists. We
yep.
have never seen a 30-20-20 game until this man did it a few nights ago. The stats he's putting up is just ridiculous. He's averaging a 30-point triple-double for crying out loud. We haven't seen anyone average a triple-double since MVP Russell Westbrook season.
I know.
So I think stat wise, it has to go with him. But I will say this: if SGA keeps playing at this level he's playing at,
Yeah,
where he's averaging almost 40 points a game the last like seven
insane.
games, if he keeps
Yeah,
playing at that level, I think you have to start having that conversation because they are number one in the West. And I think winning does play a big factor
yep.
when it comes to the MVP race. I think it's definitely going to come down to the wire come end of the season. And obviously, SGA is leading the NBA in points per game right now, which is obviously one of the most important, if not the most important stats, with 32.7 points per game. So it's so close, but I think right now I'm still gonna say Jokic. But like I said, if
Mhm.
if if SGA keeps playing at this level he's been playing at, and they keep winning all these games, I think you do have to take winning into consideration, and that might ultimately win it for SGA. But we'll see. All I know is I'm enjoying watching this race unfold for the
Yeah.
rest of the season.
Now, quick question: Does
Mhm.
I'm not too sure how the NBA does it. I know the NFL does it like right before Super Bowl weekend. When do the MVPs, finally get announced? Is that like at the end of everything, or is it before the
I'd like to
finals and
say
all
they
that?
do it during the playoffs because I think a lot of people
Okay.
have been like
Yeah.
upset that they don't wait till after everything because
Yeah. Yeah.
obviously, like say the Thunder win the finals, but then Jokic is the MVP. A
Then
lot of people that happened a few years back with when Embiid won it
this
because it was
Embiid.
between
Yeah.
Embiid and Jokic, and Embiid lost in like the second round, and Jokic went on and won the finals.
Yep.
And everyone's like, "Well, why did Embiid win if Jokic, went all the way?" But yeah, there's been complaints about that in the past.
Yeah, I remember seeing all the controversy on that, just saying like Embiid doesn't show up, like can't play and
Yeah,
produce in the playoffs yet. Jokic is over here winning championships. So
right, right.
we'll see.
Yep. All right, now we're gonna slide over to the NFL. There's been so much news, so many signings that it would take us forever to sit here and talk about each
Oh
one.
yeah.
So to kind of ramp it up a little bit, I want to get, in your opinion, it could be one, it could be two, three, just some of the best moves you've seen in free agency so far for teams.
So I'd have to say my overall favorite would probably be Justin Fields signing with the New York Jets.
Mm,
I think that they need a whole just culture change, and
yeah,
if they're gonna get anyone to do that, I think it'll be Justin Fields. He's still young. He's probably one of the biggest quarterbacks that these guys who need quarterbacks wanted. So just seeing him get picked up by a team that really needed him, I think it's great to see. And there's a lot of great signings all around the league. Not too many that I can be like, wow, that's gonna like absolutely change that team. But I'd
yeah. There
say
hasn't
Justin
been
Fields
big
is
ones
probably the
yet.
closest to that. Yeah.
Yeah, I love the Justin Fields to the Jets. Didn't him and Garrett Wilson, they were college teammates, right?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah,
yep.
so
Ohio
you got
State.
that connection there. And Justin Fields has a chance to play a lot more free, and
Oh yeah.
he's got the weapons now. So yeah, I think this is going to work out really well for them. When I look at the signings, I don't know if this is like recency bias because I know very well of this player. I'm going to have to go with Zach Wilson to the Dolphins. No, I'm just kidding.
I was
The
about to
signing I
say.
look at and see the most that I think was a really good move for this team is actually, I think Javon Holland to the Giants is a huge move
Really?
for the New York Giants. They desperately needed a
Yes.
safety back there. And Javon
Yep.
Holland, despite having a shakier season last season, he's been one of the best safeties. And I absolutely loved him on the Dolphins. I'm going to miss him, but I kind of knew that his time was coming up. He was, making a lot of comments and podcasts and stuff like that. So I knew his time with us was coming to an end. And I think the Giants got a very good player in a position that they desperately needed. So I do look at all the signings. And I think that is one of the most impactful signings that has happened so far.
Yeah. I just hope that we can surround that. We signed a pretty good corner from what I've heard yesterday, and then a couple D linemen and some linebackers.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're pretty much going defensive heavy in free agency, and hopefully we're getting some pretty big offensive weapons in the draft, which I love. So yeah.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out over there. Now there's also been a lot of trades going on in the NFL with all the free agency stuff. So I wanted to get your opinion on what the best trade has been for a team.
Yeah, I mean, I think this one absolutely caught me by surprise. We had skeptical thoughts about this guy going to everywhere else, but when I got the notification of DK Metcalf going to the Steelers, I was like, "Holy crap!" I just couldn't believe
Yeah.
it. They weren't even like it from what I was seeing. They weren't even in talks. The front runners were like Patriots. I think the Panthers were looking at them, and like kind of all like those teams who seemed like they were out of it and like in a complete rebuild. And then to see the Steelers get this guy, I think it'll be very, very interesting. But with this, they need to get a quarterback.
Hmm.
You got Pickens on one side, DK on the other. You gotta be able to get a guy to throw it to him. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
my favorite trade.
Yeah, I also put that down. I think DK to the Steelers is huge for them. Obviously, him and Pickens is going to be a great combo. They did just lose Najee Harris, who is a solid running back for him, though. So I
Yeah.
do think they still need to get a running back and a quarterback, like you said. I do have a question, though. Do you think Russell
Hmm.
Wilson can be that guy for them? I think they should move on and get a different quarterback. But do you think Russell Wilson can be that guy for the two of them?
I think Russell Wilson will probably go somewhere else. Um, I'm not too sure where I could see Vikings potentially like picking him up to kind of, I guess, train JJ McCarthy, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I don't think he'll be able to be the guy who like you want to restart the franchise with. So if it's just a bridge season, so be it. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who they get for the two of those guys in Pittsburgh, but definitely some good moves by the Steelers. All right, now I want to know who you think, what team has done the best in the offseason so far?
Yeah, so I have two actually that I think are both deserving of praise, and that's Washington and New England.
Mhm.
Washington was able to re-sign the future Hall of Fame linebacker Bobby Wagner, as well as get Debo Samuel close to nothing. I think it was like what was it, like a fifth or seventh or something, and just next year's I think it's like 2026 draft. So it wasn't even for this year, and I don't think he'll be their go-to guy. They have Terry and Jane Daniels, who have that great connections that we saw last year. But Debo's been to Pro Bowls, been in Super Bowls. He's a good guy to have on your roster. And he'll be able to make plays now and then. But yeah, like he's not going to be the guy. And then also signing Pro Bowl offensive lineman Laramie Tunsil for just 3 picks. I don't think there were any first round picks. I think it was like seconds and fives. So even that's huge for them. And the Patriots, they've already spent $260 million on contracts. They got
Yeah.
D tackle Milton Williams, cornerback Carlton Davis, offensive tackle Morgan Moses, linebacker Robert Spillane, and another linebacker Harold Landry. And none of them are like huge names that are going to impact the organization, but with all those signings, it'll definitely help them out in the long run. And yeah.
Yeah, I think both those teams have made very good moves. I'm not going to talk about the Patriots because I'm not giving them any credit. I don't like them. So, um, when I look, the team I'm going with, I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears. I think they got their new head coach. They got a guy they really wanted over there for that, and they've made improvements to their O line, which they desperately needed. Caleb Williams had no time in the pocket last season, so I think that was a big thing for them this offseason was to go out and get guys to protect him. I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but I do remember that there are some pretty good offensive linemen that they
hmm
picked up. They've also improved their D line, which is going to help out that defense a lot. So I think the Bears are drafting Ashton Genty away from being a really good team. I think if they go into the
That's
draft
yeah.
and get him,
Yep.
I think that's a very successful offseason for the Bears, and they're going to be a legit team for this next season. So it will be interesting to see how that plays out. But I'm going to shout out the Bears.
Absolutely. And I like that Ashton Genty pick too, because that's such a young offense over there. Obviously they have Keenan Allen, who's probably the oldest receiver, but you got
Mhm.
DJ Moore, who's still I'd say in the middle of his years, but Caleb Williams obviously, and yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, yeah, it will be. All right, now we're gonna slide over to the MLB real quick. Just kind of a big topic broke yesterday. Trouble for the Yankees. Garrett Cole is out for the season. He needed to go undergo Tommy John surgery, and on top of that, Luis Heel, who didn't he win rookie of the year for you
Yeah,
guys or something like that?
yeah,
Yeah,
he did.
Luis Heel, very solid pitcher for the Yankees last season. Also expected to miss multiple months. So. Mason, what is the solution for the Yankees with this starting pitcher problem you guys got right now?
Man, I we I have not seen any talks of doing anything like adding any more guys, which is kind of concerning as a fan of the Yankees. So, you see your ace go out, and then Lewis Hill, who's a great prospect, just young talent, go out also. It makes me somewhat happy that we got Max Fried. Obviously, he's a great pitcher, and I think he'll be the go-to guy. We'll see if Rodon can get it going. He had somewhat of a good year last year, better than his first, I guess, season. And then we'll see if Stroman can. I think we'll be relying on him pretty heavily as well. So I don't know. I think it's pretty shaky coming off of a World Series, contending team. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna float up a crazy idea here. The Yankees obviously lost their ace, Garrett Cole. And,
Mhm.
it's kind of hard right now at this point in the season to try to find someone that, can be your number one guy going into a
Yep.
season. But there is a guy that can come into the league, and he was a former superstar,
Yeah,
and he is desperately wanting to come back to the
I know who you're
MLB.
talking about. Yep.
Trevor Bauer. Why not go
Yep.
sign Trevor Bauer and see how he
I
does? The
saw that.
upside there is huge. And this is a former superstar. He's been wanting to come back into the league for years
Didn't he
now.
win Cy
He's been
Young?
waiting for the chance. Huh?
Didn't he
Yes, he
win
did.
Cy Young?
He's a former Cy
Yeah.
Young. Why not go get Trevor Bauer? Let him try it out. Let's see what happens. The
We have
ceiling
nothing
is
to
so
lose at this
high.
point.
You have nothing to lose. If he does bad his first few starts, then cut him. But if he's what he used to be, you can replace Garrett Cole with a prime Trevor Bauer if he's still in his prime. So why not give it a try? I think it would be so fun to see him come back into the MLB, especially for a team like the Yankees, who are such a high market team. I'm all for it. So I would love to see them go get their hands on Trevor Bauer. It'd be interesting to see if they actually do or do not. But yeah, why not? What do you got to lose?
I think we could use the culture change too, because right
Yeah.
now we got guys who are just so like to the code. Jazz Chisholm's really the only guy who's kind of out there and being himself.
Hmm.
So seeing a guy like Bauer come in, I still watch all the videos he puts on YouTube. I just think they're very entertaining. And he's
Yeah.
still got it. He's still good.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah. Absolute dog of a mentality. So like you said, he'd help out that culture a lot. All right, we're gonna slide over to the UFC real quick now because there was a huge upset last weekend in UFC 313 between Pereira and Ankalaev. Ankalaev shockingly defeated Alex Pereira and is now the champion of that division. So Mason, what are your thoughts on the fight?
So I wasn't able to see it because I did not want to pay for the pay-per-view, not gonna lie. But from what I heard and from what I saw on the replays and stuff, it seemed like Pereira was just so conservative. I don't know if he thought he was gonna just win that way or what, but it seemed like Ankalaev was the aggressor. And yeah, just looking at the numbers, the significant strikes, I think he had like Pereira had like 11 or 12 of them
Yeah,
in pretty much the whole round, like the whole fight. I think that's to the head or something. But anyways, he wasn't able to get it done, and it's I think embarrassing on his part being that big of a favor and just coming out conservative, kind of like we saw with Sean Strickland with DDP. So yeah, I think he'll get the rematch. I don't think anyone deserves it right now in that light heavyweight, class. Um, yeah, I guess credit to Ankalaev for pinning him up against the cage the whole time. Also, so
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I also didn't watch this fight live. I was just listening and watched the highlights like you did. Because I did not want to pay for the pay per view either. And yeah, from what I've heard, it's had very split reviews. A lot of people are saying Pereira got robbed. A lot of people are saying Ankalaev won. So I think that Ankalaev won, but the way he did win is like the way
Yeah,
that I hate, which is just putting someone up against a cage the whole fight and throwing shots like that. I don't like that. I think it's a very boring product. And yeah, I do think he won, but I think Pereira's going to get that rematch, and I think Pereira's a disciplined enough fighter to fix his
yeah.
mistakes and go in there and
Switch it up.
win the second time around. Yeah, that's pretty much all I
Um,
got to say about that fight. It wasn't anything crazy.
are we in the dark ages of the UFC right now?
I think so, yeah. I mean, you look at some of these
When
names that are champions. You got Ankalaev, you got Bilal Muhammad, you got Marab Dvalishvili, or whatever his last name is. These guys
Ilya
are
Taporia,
just
I'm
all
excited to watch
wrestlers.
him fight
Yeah,
Ilya, but
yeah.
yeah, I'd have to agree. Yeah, I mean, I don't know when we'll get out of it. I can't really see any promising fighters that are in the UFC right now. I guess to get the title back. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
We need Usman to come out of retirement, come fight Bilal Muhammad. I need it. I need it bad.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, we're definitely in the dark ages. I do like Islam. I think Islam's probably one of the best UFC
Yeah, I
fighters
think
we've
so
seen.
too.
But like Marab and Bilal and Ankalaev, all these guys, I don't think they're actual champions. To be completely honest, like if I'm being straight up. So
They beat
yeah,
the system. That's what they did.
yeah,
They beat the system.
100%. Yeah. Not to mention, all those guys' personalities are just terrible. Like none of them have like
They're
a. I guess
boring.
Marab is kind of
They're
funny, like
boring.
here and there,
Yeah,
but he's
he
kind of like a
is.
stupid
Yeah,
funny. Like he's not like an actual
it's very
funny.
much so.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. We're
Um.
missing that. We're missing that dog. We're missing that
Yeah.
dog mentality.
Because Taporia is a dog in the ring, but then like
He is. He's just
outside, he's not
quiet.
really doesn't make that much noise. It's like same with Islam.
He's,
To be fair, like there's not like
yeah,
that guy that like oozes like aura. You know what I mean?
yeah, and I think we've been missing that ever since McGregor left.
Yeah,
And yeah.
we'll see. Maybe someone will come in and save the UFC, but it's definitely not
Are you
looking
gonna
too good.
start training to save us, Grant?
Maybe I'll start picking up a couple training
Here and
sessions
there.
every now and then. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe.
Who are you gonna challenge right out the
Oh,
gate?
I want Bilal. I don't like that guy.
Oh,
I want
you better
Bilal.
learn wrestling, buddy.
Yeah. Um, yeah, maybe all I gotta do is just push him up against the cage and hold him down, and I should be able
Yeah,
to win.
yeah.
So we'll see.
You'll be a
Uh,
UFC champion.
yeah. Um, all right. Well, that pretty much wraps up all the news side of things. So now we're gonna head into segment 3, which is not my favorite segment.
You'll be
Mason's gonna be
fine this
giving me
week.
6 trivia questions.
You're
I'm
fine.
not feeling confident today. I feel kind of slow today, so we'll see
If you
how I
don't
do.
sweep, you better
Yeah,
sweep this one. There's no way
yeah,
you
you say
don't.
that, and then you're gonna ask me some out of pocket
Listen,
question. So
there's only one question that I can think that you might
I
not know,
said that
but
last
if
week, and you did bad. So now I'm nervous.
no, this one is legit. There's no way you
Okay.
don't get them. All right, starting off with the Cubs.
Okay.
This is the hardest question. Which player got 2016 World Series MVP?
Ben Zobrist,
All right, you're good. All right. Number 2, what is the Cubs mascot's name?
Clark the Cub.
Yep. Yeah, you're good. What seed were the Heat entering the 23 playoffs?
They're 8 seed.
Yes. I thought you would have. Yeah, that was. I was like, there's no way he's not gonna get that. Who was Heat's first round pick in 2023?
2023. It would have been Jaquez.
Yes. Yeah. See, I'm telling you, dude, you're good. What year was Tua drafted?
Oh boy, this one is a little tricky because I didn't
Really?
watch the year he got drafted.
Yeah.
Was it? Would it have been 2019? Is it 2020?
Yeah. 2020.
Real? Oh, 2020. Okay, I knew it was either 19 or
Yeah.
20,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't watch back then. I'm not gonna lie.
That was a dark year for NFL.
Yeah,
2020. What number pick does the Miami Dolphins have this year's draft?
13, right?
Yeah, dude, I told you clean sweep. There's nothing to worry about. I could not find any good questions that were like actually testing the ball knowledge without them being so hard.
All right.
Because
Well,
like I was
I
looking
need
for
you to.
Dolphins, and like it was like who's the 1966 receiving yards leader, and I'm like, there's no way I'm picking that.
Yeah, Dolphins don't have a lot of history to have good trivia questions for. You're a lot easier because
Not
you got the New York sports, so it's easy to find trivia
yeah
gems for you guys. But
yeah.
all right, I needed an easy week, so
I
I'll
told
take
you
it.
you'd be good, bro. I told
All
you
right.
you'd be good.
All right. Well, that pretty much wraps up the episode. Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode of GM Sports Report, where every play counts. Please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to be able to see our weekly episodes on All Things Sports. For additional content, check the description to see links to our Instagram and TikTok account. This is Grant and Mason signing off for now. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you guys.